By Mrs. W.A. Masters, 603 Cortez Street. I did a search of the question, who is responsible for fluoridation, and this article came up. I want to read it to you because it's one citizen's demand that big business stop fluoridating the water. And she gives good reasons why. She goes a little bit too far because she wants to pass on the myth of what causes cavities. We know now that it's one bacteria, Streptococcus mutans. And I did a video about it. If you type in Streptococcus mutans, you'll pull it up. M-U-T-A-N-S. That's the bacteria that causes tooth decay, and we have a vaccine against it. We could end cavities, and that would destroy the dental business. And so that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how good it is for you. It only matters how good it is for business. That's fascism. Government and business team up to screw you. That's fascism. And Mrs. Masters writes, who is responsible for fluoridation in our drinking water? What should be at the foot of these Rockies, the purest water in the world, is contaminated by big business and a few ignorant parents who think it will save their children's teeth and have not taken the trouble to investigate this racket. That's exactly what it is. It's a racket. It's moving money up by conveyor belt to the all-seeing eye. I've said it over and over again. These dentists charge a lot of money, they make a lot of money, and they send a third of it off to the all-seeing eye of the pyramid, and that's why you have fluoride in your drinking water. It has nothing whatsoever to do with health. It has to do with money, and that's all. And they don't give a shit how bad your children's teeth are, how low the IQs are, how calcified the pineal gland is. They don't care how brittle your bones are or whether or not you have a hip replacement in old age. They don't care what damage it does to your kidneys, your liver, your heart, and they don't care how porous it makes your teeth. Opening the door for cavities to walk right in and require major dental work. They win and you lose. That's fascism. They get the money and you pay the money. That's the system. And Mrs. Masters writes, the next step after fluoridation will be mottled teeth. Fluoridation is obsolete at best. It was never useful. This word obsolete means it was once very useful and now no longer is. And this word is inappropriate here. Fluoride was never useful in our drinking water. It is a poison located between lead and arsenic in toxicity. Lead is very toxic. Arsenic is extremely toxic, and fluoride resides between the two. On the scale, lead is at 4, very toxic. Arsenic is at a little over 5, extremely toxic, and fluoride is about 4.3. It's between lead and arsenic. Now, which would you rather drink, lead or arsenic? Because fluoride is right between the two. I wanted to know who mandated this. I want to see his picture. I want to see his name. And what you get is a lot of buck passing. You call the EPA and they refer you to the municipality. You call the municipality, they say it's a federal requirement. You get the runaround. Nobody knows who's responsible, and it breaks many laws. Yet it went through miraculously. That's fascism. That's totalitarian control of everything. That's how they installed a Kenyan in the White House and his boyfriend, husband, Michael. That's how they did it. Mrs. Masters writes, in Marquette, Michigan, after 17 years of fluoridation, there are so many children with spectacularly bad teeth. The city is now considering a large appropriation to provide dental care for young teeth that were not supposed to need it after drinking fluoridated water. This should be the largest class action lawsuit in history, much larger than the settlement with the tobacco industry. Where are the lawyers to sue? There are so many victims in this racket. There should be hundreds of billions of dollars in settlement from these people who are responsible for the fluoridation of the water. Every dentist who advocates fluoridating the water should be sued. Every municipality that mandated it should be sued. Clean out all of their municipal funds. For decades, where are the lawyers? They're nowhere because they would not oppose the system that rewards them with hundreds of thousands of dollars in income each year. The American Bar Association is a racket. I think it's perfectly appropriate to call it a conspiracy. A conspiracy to defraud the public. The American Medical Association is another racket. A conspiracy to defraud the public. We are not getting legal representation because no lawyer wants to oppose the powers that be. He's in the gravy train. He's living lavishly off the luxuries provided by cooperation. If there was one detriment to fluoridating the water, it should be banned. And there are hundreds of detriments. Lower IQ, porous teeth, brittle bones, kidney damage, heart damage, pineal gland calcification. So many old age afflictions, health problems, are associated with fluoride. And there's plenty of evidence to support that. Where are the lawyers? Is there no lawyer that's good in heart to come to the rescue and stop this fluoridation worldwide? I saw an interview, and the man seemed to know his stuff, and he said that the U.S. is buying toxic industrial waste of the fluoride type from China and putting it in the drinking water of Americans. Is this what you want? If not, you have to come out and oppose this. Mrs. Masters goes too far in the next paragraph. She says that cavities are associated with sugar. This is a myth. It is not true. People who do not eat sugar do not get cavities. This is absolutely wrong, incorrect. It has been proven that there is one bacteria that's responsible for all tooth decay, and it is Streptococcus mutans. And we need to give up this idea that eating sugar is bad for us. There are other myths in the medical industry. One is about salt. We have so much sodium in our system. It's in every cell. It's needed. Sodium is not poison. Fluoride is poison. I studied chemistry. In detail, the kidneys, Bowman's capsule, loop of Henle. We had to know what the kidneys did and how they did it. Basically, the kidneys throw everything out and then retrieve back what is needed. And only the sodium and chlorine that's required is retrieved. The rest goes out the urine. And so don't think that sodium or chloride ion, these are not poisons. In excess, maybe, but in moderation, normal in food, they're okay. Our body needs them. Absolutely needs them. We need potassium also, but we don't need any lead, cadmium, arsenic, fluorine, fluoride. Fluorine is the element and fluoride is the ion when it acquires an electron. We don't need these at all. And for anyone to come forward and say that we need them, that they prevent cavities without any discussion, without any scientific proof, and to mandate them in the drinking water means somebody got paid off. It costs $8,000 to $10,000 a ton to get rid of this stuff. Industrial waste from the fertilizer industry, the nuclear bomb industry, and the aluminum industry. And so what do? They sell it to the cities for $1,500 a ton. Instead of losing $8,000 to $10,000 a ton, they're making $1,500 a ton by putting it into your drinking water. And what happens over time? The author here says mottled teeth. That is barely the surface. That is just the beginning of the health problems caused by fluoride. A man that was head of the cancer studies for 34 years said that the single greatest cause of cancer is fluoride. I think he knows what he's talking about. Now the author gives some medical advice, dental advice, and I don't think it's correct. She says, to ensure wholesome teeth in their children, let parents eliminate sugar, maintain clean teeth, a proper intake of calcium, and a nourishing diet of protein, fruits, and vegetables. And then she signs her name. You can avoid sugar your entire life and kiss someone with Streptococcus mutans, and you have the bacteria that causes cavities. So you wasted your time avoiding candy. Calcium is extremely important to health. It's so important I would consider it at the core of good health. Calcium. And sunshine is also important. 2 hours a day on your face is healthy. A nourishing diet of protein, fruits, and vegetables, absolutely. Easy on the proteins, heavy on the fruits and vegetables. 3 to 4 helpings each day of each. The average American consumes 273 pounds of fruits each year and 415 pounds of vegetables each year. That's what we're already consuming on average. I don't know what the optimum level is, what makes you healthiest, but calcium is very important, and you get it from green leafy vegetables, you get it from pasta. You have to look up calcium and find out the sources, because if you have calcium in your system, the fluoride might bond to the calcium instead of your bones and teeth. When school children all have fluorosis, it means there's too much fluoride in their environment, not just their food, but their drinks and in the air, in their foods. And nobody has control or is even looking at protecting people from too much fluoride. The EPA is looking for the maximum they can put into your drinking water, not eliminating it completely because it's tied to cancer and it's tied to dental caries, which are cavities. When Valiant Thor met with Richard Nixon, who was vice president under Eisenhower, he offered a gift. He said the people of Earth can have perfect health. That's quite a gift. Richard Nixon turned it down because he said it would bankrupt America. That tells you who Richard Nixon worked for. It wasn't the people. It was big business. The American Medical Association would have become bankrupt if we had perfect health. There were too many wealthy people, too many doctors feeding at the trough for Richard Nixon to allow an alien to bestow upon us this special gift of perfect health. 70% of Americans are on some form of prescription drug. This is a racket by Big Pharma. Our government couldn't care less how healthy you are. They set up all these government agencies and every one of them serves big business, not you. And I vote, therefore, to eliminate all of them, fire them all. Why should we pay them if they're not working for us? If they're setting up and running rackets like fluoridating the water, why do we need them? Wouldn't it be better to fire the federal government and cancel all the agencies and live prosperously in peace without any wars? Secession is an exit door. Go through it. You will find paradise on the other side. If you stay on this side of the door, you will find life miserable next year and more miserable the year after. A nation of people with bad teeth as a result of fluoridating the water. We need to get involved in this issue and stop it. And those of you who are for fluoridation, you are stupid. You are ignorant of the facts in the case. Stop running your fucking mouth and start reading about fluoridation. Learn the truth for once in your miserable life. You know nothing about fluoride, and you are creating problems by supporting big business here. Big business is about making money for the stockholders, and it means stepping on little people to do it. And if you don't see the big picture, get the fuck out of the way. End the advocacy of fluoridation of the water because you don't know shit about what's going on. Mrs. Masters has said her piece. I have said mine, and now it's your turn. Do you remain silent and support big business and the fluoridation of water, or do you take action somehow? Join a social network and get the word out. Find some truth and spread it, because truth is highly corrosive to a dictatorship. Thanks for watching. Stop Fluoridation by Mrs. W.A. Masters, 603 Cortez Street. I did a search of the question, who is responsible for fluoridation, and this article came up. I want to read it to you because it's one citizen's demand that big business stop fluoridating the water. And she gives good reasons why. She goes a little bit too far because she wants to pass on the myth of what causes cavities. We know now that it's one bacteria, Streptococcus mutans. And I did a video about it. If you type in Streptococcus mutans, you'll pull it up. M-U-T-A-N-S. That's the bacteria that causes tooth decay, and we have a vaccine against it. We could end cavities, and that would destroy the dental business. And so that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how good it is for you. It only matters how good it is for business. That's fascism. Government and business team up to screw you. That's fascism. And Mrs. Masters writes, who is responsible for fluoridation in our drinking water? What should be at the foot of these Rockies, the purest water in the world, is contaminated by big business and a few ignorant parents who think it will save their children's teeth and have not taken the trouble to investigate this racket. That's exactly what it is. It's a racket. It's moving money up by conveyor belt to the all-seeing eye. I've said it over and over again. These dentists charge a lot of money, they make a lot of money, and they send a third of it off to the all-seeing eye of the pyramid, and that's why you have fluoride in your drinking water. It has nothing whatsoever to do with health. It has to do with money, and that's all. And they don't give a shit how bad your children's teeth are, how low the IQs are, how calcified the